So welcome to all for the course of refrigeration and air conditioning. Now in unit number 1, the second part is refrigerants. So now we are going to study the refrigerants. So refrigerant we are classified into two parts. One is pure fluid, other is mixture. So in fluid again two parts, synthetic and naturally available. Now synthetic refrigerants are CFC, HCFC and HFC. CFC means chlorofluorocarbon. For example, R11, R12, HCFC means hydrofluorocarbon means R22 or HFC means hydrofluorocarbons. For example, R134. So this chlorofluorocarbon like R11, R12 consist of chlorine molecules which is responsible for ozone depletion. So HCFC also consists some part of chlorine and is responsible for ozone layer depletion and global warming. HCFC does not responsible for ozone depletion but responsible for global warming. If you add two or more refrigerant, then we get some new refrigerant that is called as mixture, azeotropic mixture or zeotropic mixture. Then naturally available refrigerants are nothing but your organic refrigerants, halocarbon, or inorganic refrigerant like ammonia, carbon dioxide or water. Now, the no one refrigerant is suitable in all conditions. So now we have to select the refrigerant depending upon conditions. So now let we do study of properties of refrigerant. That properties may be thermodynamics and thermophysical property, environmental and safety property, or economical property. Now, the first thermodynamic and thermophysical property is suction pressure. Now, so at given evaporator temperature, the saturation pressure should be above atmospheric so that for prevention of air or moisture will not enter into the system. So that we can prevent the entry of air or moisture into the system. And it is easy for leak detection and smaller compressor displacement. Then the discharge pressure of the condenser at given condenser temperature, the discharge pressure should be small so that the power consumption is less, lightweight of compressor and condenser. Then pressure ratio should be small as possible for high volumetric efficiency and low power consumption. Then latent heat of vaporization of refrigerant should be as large as possible so that the required mass flow rate per cooling capacity will be small. The liquid specific heat should be small so that degree of subcooling will be large, and the vapor specific heat should be large so that degree of superheating will be small. The thermal conductivity of refrigerant should be high for high transfer coefficient, and the viscosity of refrigerant should be small for smaller frictional pressure drop. Next is environmental and safety properties. So ozone depletion potential according to Montreal Protocol, the ozone depletion potential of refrigerant should be zero. ODP should be zero, and ODP is because of presence of chlorine molecule or bromine molecule. So R11, R12 have very high ODP, so they should not use again. They are phased out. And global warming potential is next issue is global warming potential. So refrigerant should have low global warming potential. So currently we are not using R11, R12. Mostly we are using now R134. Because R134 a refrigerant is not responsible for ozone layer depletion. It has zero ODP but have high value of GWP, global warming potential. So in future we have to also find out alternate solution for R134. We have to phase out R134 in future because of global warming potential. Next is total equivalent warming index TEWI. So it considers both direct and indirect contribution of refrigerant to global warming. And this TWI should be low. Direct means due to release into atmosphere, and indirect means through energy conversion. So this total equivalent warming index should be low. Then the refrigerant should not be flammable, non-explosive. That flammability of refrigerant is because of presence of hydrogen molecules. Now, the ASHRAE has divided refrigerant into six categories: A1 to A3 and B1 to B3. The refrigerant belonging to group A1, for example, R11, R12, R22, R134, R77, R744, R718 are least hazardous, while the refrigerant belonging to group B3 like R1140 are most hazardous. So flammability of refrigerant should be low. Then refrigerant should not be toxic. So toxicity depending on concentration. If any gas have very high concentration, then we say that it is toxic. So some fluids are toxic even in small concentration. Some fluids are moderately toxic or they become dangerous only when concentration is large and duration of exposure is long. So some refrigerant like CFC, HCFC are not toxic when mixed with air in normal condition. However, they become contact with open flame or electrical heating element, they decompose forming highly toxic element. So this toxicity depends on amount of refrigerant versus total space, type of occupancy, presence of open flame, order of refrigerant and maintenance condition. Next property is chemical stability. The refrigerant should be chemically stable as long as it is inside the refrigeration system. The refrigerant should be compatible means with compatible with material of construction like metal or non-metal. Then miscibility with lubricant oil. So oil separators have to be used if the refrigerant is not miscible with lubricant oil. So refrigerants that are commonly completely miscible with oils are easier to handle R2L. However, for refrigerant with limited solubility like R22, special precautions should be taken while designing the system to ensure that oil should return to the compressor. Then next property is dielectric strength. So it is very important property for system using hermetic compressor. For this system, the refrigerant should have high dielectric strength as possible. Then ease of leak detection. So in the event of leak of refrigerant from the system, it should be easier to detect the leaks. Then refrigerant should be inexpensive and easily available. Next part of designation refrigerants will continue in next video. So thank you for listening. Thank you.